Hello everyone. In the last lecture we talked about mainly delta hedging. So today we will talk about other Greek letters and gamma hedging and vega hedging. Okay. So let us first talk about theta. So what is theta of a portfolio? We have defined it as df dabba f by dabba t. So theta is rate of change with respect to change in time. So rate of change of portfolio worth with respect to the passage of time. Of course, in all these derivatives, these are all partial derivatives. So the other quantities are kept constant. So when all other quantities remain the same. Okay. Okay. So this theta is also known as decay of the portfolio or time decay of the portfolio. What would be theta for a call option? So theta for a call option would be dabba ct by dabba t, and we know the formula, so we can try to derive, and this turns out to be, I'll write the final answer because derivation is pretty straightforward. So I'll just write the final answer. Theta for call option is minus s f d1 sigma divided by 2 under root t minus t minus r k e raised to minus r t minus t into phi d2. Okay. What is this f d1? This is PDF of standard normal distribution at d1. Okay, phi is CDF we know, so f is derivative of phi, that is PDF of standard normal distribution evaluated at d1. So this is PDF. S and sigma are of course positive. K, R, E and capital phi are also going to be positive. So with the negative signs we can see that theta is negative. And in fact, so what does this mean? That call option always loses its worth as time passes. Okay, so call option becomes less and less worthy as time passes. Okay, similarly we can compute theta for put option using the Black-Scholes formula, option pricing formula. So theta for put option actually turns out to be r k e raised to minus r t minus t plus theta of call option. Okay. So as a result, sometimes theta of put option can be positive also. Okay. So for theta for put option can be positive as well as negative. So sometimes put option may gain more importance as time progresses further, but call option would always reduce in value as time progresses. Okay. Remember, everything else is kept constant. Strike price is kept constant, current share price is kept constant, and so on. Okay. As I mentioned in the earlier lecture, theta is not used for hedging because change in time is not unpredictable. We know how time changes. Okay, so theta is not used for hedging. So we can only learn calculations of theta, no hedging. Now let me go to gamma. Gamma we know is actually change in delta with respect to change in S, or we can write this as dabba 2f by dabba square. So gamma is a second derivative. So this is rate of change of delta of a portfolio. Gamma is rate of change of delta of a portfolio with respect to the price of the underlying asset, with respect to the price of the underlying asset. Okay. Now, what can we say about small gamma or large gamma? So if gamma magnitude wise is small, okay, then it means that rate of change of delta is small. So it means that delta changes slowly with respect to the changes in the share price. As a result, for a delta neutral portfolio, you don't need too many adjustments. So delta neutral portfolio would not require frequent adjustments if gamma is low. Okay, it would not require frequent adjustments if gamma is low. Whereas if gamma is high, then delta neutral portfolio would require frequent adjustments, because it would mean that delta changes fast. Delta reacts quite sensitively to the changes in the share price. So this would require frequent adjustments. Okay, so this is the importance of gamma of a portfolio, and there is some relationship between gamma and theta also. Okay, so let us try to derive that. So if we assume that volatility and rate of interest remain constant over a small interval, volatility and risk-free rate of interest, suppose they remain constant over a small time interval, then we won't have vega and rho in picture, because volatility is not changing, rate of interest is not changing, so vega and rho won't be in picture. Then from our Taylor series equation that we saw in the earlier lecture, portfolio worth becomes delta pi by delta s into delta s plus delta pi by delta t into delta t plus half delta 2 pi by delta s square into delta s whole square. Okay, other terms anyway we were ignoring yesterday also. So this becomes delta pi by delta s is what? This is delta into delta s plus theta into delta t plus half gamma into delta s whole square. This is my delta pi. Okay, and suppose my portfolio has already been delta hedged. Delta hedged means suppose delta is already 0. So that would mean that delta pi is simply theta times delta t plus half gamma delta s whole square. Okay, and generally when gamma is positive, theta is generally negative. Okay, that is observed quite commonly. If gamma is positive, then theta is generally negative. And we know the multiplier for gamma is a square term. So magnitude wise, this gamma term is going to contribute less. Okay, gamma term is going to contribute less, whereas theta term would contribute more, because this is not a square term. As a result, delta pi would generally be negative if gamma is positive. Okay, so because of this, there are 4 different scenarios depending on values of gamma and magnitude of gamma. So if you have slightly positive gamma, then what happens to the portfolio worth with respect to changes in share price? So delta s and delta pi. So you have something like this. Okay, so you have something like this here. So portfolio change in the portfolio worth is negative in the in between region, and then it goes on increasing on both the sides. Then if you have large positive gamma, then the changes are rapid, they are not gradual. So you have something like this. Okay, rapid changes with respect to delta s in delta pi, correct? And if you have negative gamma, then you have opposite situations. So if you have small negative gamma, slightly negative gamma, then you have something like this, and you have large negative gamma, large in the sense magnitude wise large, but negative. Then you have again sharp changes, so you have something like this. Okay, so this is how the relationship between portfolio worth and delta S, change in portfolio worth and delta S looks like for different values of gamma. Okay, gamma is used for hedging. Okay, so we can do something called as gamma hedging. So let us see one example for gamma hedging. One important difference between delta and gamma hedging is, see, in delta hedging, whenever we wanted to change delta, we would buy or sell shares, because shares have delta equal to 1, so they can make the adjustments. However, for a share, gamma would be 0, because delta by delta S would mean delta by delta S of just 1. So this would be 0 because delta for a share is 1. Hence, shares cannot be used for gamma hedging. Okay, shares cannot be used for gamma hedging. So you need to use the traded derivatives like options, futures, etc. for gamma hedging. Okay, so let gamma be the gamma of a portfolio and suppose gamma T be the gamma of some traded option. Okay, gamma T be gamma of a traded option. So if we want to make portfolio gamma neutral, then we need to take some positions inside W options. So we have original gamma plus W gamma T, we want this to be 0, right? Why we want this to be 0? Because we want to make the portfolio gamma neutral. So if this is made as 0, then it means that my omega has to be minus gamma upon gamma T. Okay, minus gamma upon gamma T. So this is how we derive the number of traded options that one should buy or sell. So if the final answer turns out to be negative, we should sell. If the final answer turns out to be positive, we should buy. Okay. Let us take one actual numerical example for this. Suppose a portfolio is already delta neutral. Suppose a portfolio is delta neutral and has gamma equal to minus 3000. Okay, then for a particular traded option in the market, obviously which is related to the assets in this portfolio, for a particular traded option available in the market, delta for that option is suppose 0.62 and gamma for that option is suppose 1.5. Okay, delta is 0.62 and gamma is 1.5, and we want to make the portfolio, our aim is to make the portfolio delta as well as gamma neutral. Okay, delta neutrality has already been achieved, but when we try to make portfolio gamma neutral, we might end up disturbing delta, so we want to retain that. So to make the portfolio delta as well as gamma neutral, this is our aim. Okay, so how do we do that? So again we will use the formula that we derived just now. So omega turned out to be minus gamma upon gamma T. So here it would be 3000 upon 1.5. So this is 2000. Okay, so to make the portfolio gamma neutral, buy 2000 options. Correct? The sign is positive, so buy 2000 options. So the portfolio is now gamma neutral. But the problem is now the delta neutrality might have disturbed. Okay, so we have to maintain delta neutrality. So let us see what is new delta. Original delta was 0, but now because we have brought this because we have bought this options, so I have 2000 into delta for each option is 0.62, so this becomes 1240. So new delta is 1240 and we need to make this delta also 0. So what would we do? We will have to sell 1240 shares from the portfolio. Okay, remember I'm saying sell the shares. You cannot say that okay, we will sell some of the options, because then gamma would again get disturbed. Whereas selling the shares ensures that only the delta changes, gamma doesn't change, because shares have gamma 0. Okay, so sell 1240 shares from the portfolio, and as a result delta would be 0 again. So now the portfolio has become both delta as well as gamma neutral. Is it okay? So this is how we carry out gamma hedging, and in fact we carry out both delta as well as gamma hedging. We generally don't stop at just gamma hedged portfolio. We obviously want to make delta also 0. Okay. We didn't see what are the gamma values for call and put option. So let me write those quickly. Again, I won't derive because they are very easy to derive. So gamma put, so delta put we know is phi of d1. So gamma put would be derivative of phi of d1 with respect to s. So this turns out to be f d1 upon sigma s under root t minus t. Okay, f is again PDF of standard normal distribution, so this is positive, right? And similarly gamma for I'm sorry, this was gamma for call, and similarly gamma for put would be dabba by dabba s of phi d1 minus 1, correct, because this was my delta. So this would be same, f of d1 upon sigma s root t minus t. So gamma for call and gamma for put are actually one and the same, and they both are positive. Okay. Using the Black-Scholes-Merton differential equation, we can try to derive relationship between delta, gamma and theta. So this comes from the Black-Scholes-Merton differential equation. So we have dabba pi by dabba t plus rs dabba pi by dabba s plus half sigma square s square dabba 2 pi by dabba s square is equal to r pi. So f we are replacing by pi. Okay. So what do we get from this? So this gives me theta plus rs delta plus half sigma square s square gamma is r pi. Okay. So if I have a delta neutral portfolio, then theta plus half sigma square s square gamma is r pi. Okay, theta plus half sigma square s square gamma is equal to r pi. Okay, so this is the relationship between theta, gamma, and if you want you can use this relationship between theta, gamma and delta. Okay, now we have to worry about next Greek letter, that is vega. So what is vega? Vega is the rate of change of value of the portfolio with respect to the volatility. Rate of change of value of the portfolio with respect to the volatility of the underlying asset. Okay. So vega sometimes is denoted by this letter. Vega is actually not really, I mean, if you go for Greek alphabets, vega is not a Greek letter. Okay, so sometimes it is denoted by this nu. So if mod of nu is near 0, means if it's very small, then it would mean that volatility change would have very less impact on the portfolio worth. Okay, this would mean volatility change would have very small impact on the portfolio worth. Okay. Of course, if this is large, then it means that portfolio is highly sensitive to changes in the volatility. So portfolio is highly sensitive to changes in the volatility. Okay. Now, just like gamma, for making portfolio vega neutral also we have to take some traded option, because vega for a share is again 0. Okay, vega for a share is again 0 because we are taking partial derivative. So partial derivative of s with respect to sigma is 0. So if suppose nu is vega for a portfolio and if nu t is vega for a traded option, then again to make the portfolio vega neutral, the number of units of option turns out to be same as what we did for gamma. So original portfolio vega upon vega for the traded option. So let us take one example where we do gamma, delta, vega hedging simultaneously. Okay, so we want to do all types of hedging. So if you want to make a portfolio gamma as well as vega neutral, you will need to have at least 2 different types of options. Okay, are you following me? If you want to have gamma as well as vega neutral portfolio, then you need at least 2 traded options. Why? Because otherwise you can never make both the things 0 simultaneously. So when you make vega 0, gamma would change. If you try to make gamma 0, vega would change. So you need at least 2 traded options. So suppose, let us consider one example of that type. So suppose gamma of a portfolio is 5000 and vega of a portfolio is say 8000. Okay, gamma of a portfolio is 5000 and vega of a portfolio is 8000. And we want to make the portfolio gamma as well as vega neutral, and initially delta is 0, so the portfolio is already delta neutral. But of course when we make it gamma and vega neutral, delta may change, so we'll have to adjust it back. And 2 types of options are being traded in the market, and their delta, gamma and vega values are reported here. So for option 1, delta is 0.6, gamma is 0.5, vega is 2. And for option 2, delta is 0.5, vega is 0.8, sorry, gamma is 0.8 and vega is 1.2. And we have seen that for portfolio, so portfolio vega and gamma are given to us. So we want to make the portfolio vega as well as gamma neutral. So let omega 1 and omega 2 be the number of options of each type. Number of options of each type which would be traded. Okay. So my current gamma of a portfolio is 5000. So to that I am going to add 0.5 into omega 1, correct? 0.5 into omega 1 plus 0.8 omega 2. Okay, 0.5 omega 1, 0.8 omega 2. This should be 0. For making things gamma neutral, this should be 0. And for making things vega neutral, I will have 8000 plus 2 times omega 1, correct? 8000 plus 2 times omega 1 plus 1.2 times omega 2, this should be 0. Okay, for making the portfolio vega neutral. So let us solve these two simultaneous equations. What do we get? I think we get omega 1 equal to minus 400 and omega 2 equal to minus 6000. Okay, let us check. So if I put minus 400 here, this would become minus 200 and then minus 6000 into 0.8. So this would become minus 4800. So yes, this first equation would be satisfied. And in the second equation, I would have minus 800 and minus 7200. So second equation would also be satisfied. Okay, so it means we have to take short position in 400 options of type 1 and 6000 options of type 2 to make the portfolio gamma as well as vega neutral. Okay, and now the delta neutrality must have been affected. So what is the delta of the new portfolio? Initially it was 0, but now minus 400 into 0.6 minus 6000 into 0.5. So delta becomes minus 3240. So we will have to buy 3240 shares to make the portfolio delta neutral. Of course, now we don't have to worry about vega and gamma neutrality because for shares, vega and gamma are both 0, so they won't affect the vega and gamma neutrality of the portfolio. Is it okay? So what would be vega for a call option and put option? So vega would be dabba C by dabba sigma. So let me again write down the final answer. It would be SFD1 square root T minus T. So this is positive. And for put option, it is same actually. SFD1 root T minus T. So it is positive. So as volatility increases, the worth of the call and put option also increases. Can you see why intuitively also this makes sense? See, intuitively also this would make sense because as the share price becomes more volatile, people would be more interested in buying options because options give you some protection against uncertainty. Okay, so more volatility would mean more need of the options and hence the options become pricey. Okay, and now the last Greek letter that we are yet to talk about is rho. So rho is rate of change of value of the portfolio with respect to change in the interest rate. Value of the portfolio with respect to the risk-free rate of interest. Again, rho is also not generally used much for hedging. So it just tells us something about how much the portfolio is sensitive to changes in the interest rate. So for a call option, rho turns out to be T minus T K e raised to minus R T minus T phi D2. So again it is positive. And for put option, it is minus of T minus T K raised to minus R T minus T phi of minus D2. So for put option it is negative. So as interest rate increases, call option becomes more expensive, put option becomes less expensive. Why? Think why this would happen. See, in a call option you are paying the money at the end. So when you have the money with you, you are going to earn interest on that. So as interest rate is more, call option is more beneficial. Whereas in put option, you don't receive any money initially. So you own the asset, means initially you might have bought the asset and then you receive money at the end. So you can't earn interest on that money. Okay, so as interest rate increases, the put option becomes less appealing, whereas call option becomes more appealing. Okay, so this is what rho is, and rho won't be used for hedging, so we won't have any hedging related example for rho, but of course you can calculate rho for a call and put option using these formulae. Okay, so this was all about the Greek letters. As I told you, Greek letters tell us something about the health of the portfolio and sensitivity of the portfolio with respect to these parameters. So let me stop here. Thank you.